Ayan po tayo, our Heavenly Father, we're so much thankful for this wonderful day that you have given us and for the time that we had for into the composition. Thank you for Miss Morris and Miss Sarah that they will today and also critique our melody in Tagalog text. We pray that you will encourage us today and motivate us to do these things for your glory and sana po ay ito ay maging opportunity para po sa amin, para kami po ay mag-grow musically and para po sa ministries po namin, Lord. And thank you for these songs na nag-encourage po sa amin at patuloy na nagbibigay po ng mga truths para po kami ay motivate, Lord, sa aming Christian living din po. Sa iyo po ang lahat ng kaparehan. In Jesus' name, Amen.
All right, do I have a volunteer to go first? Do we make the birthday girl go first, or does she get to choose who goes first?
Ladies first.
Sige po. I'm ready and I'm ready.
Ready. Okay, great. Let's get yours up here. Okay, can everyone see this?
Oh, I'm gonna sing. They're my low notes, my low note,
You have your
low
low note.
voice.
You
I have a low voice today because it's morning. Ito po.
I can raise the key if you want, but
Ay, wow, mataas. May isang dakong payapa sa puso ng Diyos. Do'y di gumagambala ang talang balak yun. O Jesus na manunubos, dugo mo na sa Diyos, kami ay itataguyod na malapit sa Diyos.
good. And Cherry said, what did you say? You tried 5 times to come up with a second melody, right? Is it 5? But she decided this was the best melody. So let's try singing it together. I'm gonna see. I don't know if you can. Okay, I'll just have to stop before we get to the chorus so you can and move it. Let's try singing it. All right. I forgot to. I keep doing that. I forgot to move it. I forgot I had to move it for you. Okay, let me do the chorus once more. Sing the chorus again. Okay, good. A lot of nice stuff, Cherry. It works. I think most of it works. There may be some accent issues, and we'll ask Miss Julian about that first.
A lot of it are working fine naman po. Especially for first stanza. There are some in other stanzas. I only noticed the dooy di gumagambala. But it doesn't really sound that wrong. Too'y di gumagambala. Maybe she could either put the accent on D instead of gu. Measure 5. Pick up the measure 6.
Okay. Say that again. So what's the problem there?
The accent for pick up the measure 6. Too'y di gumagambala. So probably she could put the accent on D instead of gu.
So here you're saying?
Yes, but I don't want to ruin her rhythm.
But wouldn't that be true of this also? Shouldn't that be on the downbeat also?
Either sang or da.
They're both
that would
accented,
be
but is
fun.
it odd to have sung on an accented beat?
Isang da. That sounds so fine for me. Isang da.
So, but if she moves this one and she moved that one, we would have some unity there too, rhythmically.
Where? Sorry?
If she made the sung the downbeat and D the downbeat, then she could still keep some measure of rhythmic unity. May isang dakong and duoy D.
That's possible po. Opo.
Yeah, that
Could
might
be.
be a good option for you. Put this lower so I can write on the whole.
I am thinking for the other stanzas.
Yes. What about the other stanzas? Which is better?
Tuoy C. C is not good for the downbeat. And the ya.
But neither is Jesus. diba? Jesus.
Yep. Maybe slur.
Maybe ano?
Or for the third stanza, may pook.
So it's here.
Mayroong pook.
And kapaya.
Kapayapaan. That should be pa.
So that's correct also, right?
Yep.
But this one, we don't really want on Jesus, right? I'd rather have it not be emphasis on her. Always the problem with the verses. If you only had one stanza to work with, it's so easy to get it right. But when you have other stanzas, it's more challenging. But everything else is working. Is it just really that spot? So, like in your mind, the beginning is fine because the isang da.
Yes.
So it's just right here, this spot that's a little bit tricky. What if she changed this to Cristo?
Yep. That's a good idea.
Yay, I'm finally learning from my assistant so I know how to fix some Tagalog things. Yay. Okay. So I'm not going to be able to write that in any.
Actually, also for the second stanza. She could use dako instead of pook.
She could use what?
Dako. May isang dako.
Right here.
Yes, because pook, accent on ok.
So cumbersome to write on this. Okay. Okay, so that basically fixes then everything but this first stanza, right?
It didn't really sound so parang wrong. Maybe because of the long notes. Right.
You think you can get away with it?
Or
Because where
maybe
is the accent? Where should the accent be on this word?
gumagambala. Gumama
It's on ma and ba.
ba.
Ma, ba. Okay.
What if our rhythm will be to oy di gumagambala?
And do a melisma here for doy.
Yeah.
D. And then
Doon ay, we can use the word doon ay.
Ah, yes. Okay, that works. Doon I. Okay. D, and then what would the rhythm be in this measure?
Dotted quarter. Di guma.
So we would just end up with a tied note here, probably,
Yeah.
for the other stanzas. So we would move the group to there. And the other stanzas wouldn't change, it would just affect the first stanza. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does that seem to work? Okay, so that doesn't really affect your melody at all, which is rather nice. Did anyone have any comments for her on her melody before I move this to the chorus? Because we'll lose all our markings once I move it to the chorus. Let's see. I love how you did this, Cherry. I love your kind of suspension-ish sound here. Yeah, your non-chord tone. You almost could do it again. That's what I'm hearing. It's not necessarily something you have to do, but I'm hearing you almost half cadencing there, giving a little more direction in the melody. Anyone have any other thoughts? What you have works, so that's completely your decision, Cherry. You don't have to change it. It's not a matter of completely right or wrong. Okay, any other comments about the verse before we move on to the chorus?
I'm thinking for the word balakyot. What is the meaning of that?
Actually,
I'll
I
try
don't know.
I'll try to Google it.
I have. Oh, yeah. Maybe,
Maybe
ano,
we
yung,
can
yung,
find
there is
viewers.
a quiet. Oh.
Sorry, ano ulit?
Maybe I need to look sa, ano, sa,
It
sa
says
there
it,
is a place, a quiet rest.
it says it means wicked or deceitful. Does that seem to fit?
That's sin. Wicked sin.
Malaki.
Good. So if that's not a word you're familiar with, you might want to change it just so that
Yes. I think it's that.
your
Right?
audience is to be blessed.
Kasalanan? Ay, anong ang salang.
I'll let you guys kind of think about that.
Okay. I'll think of a word also.
Hey, thank you.
Okay, Cherry, if you want to take a picture of this, you're welcome to if that would help you if you have it all written down.
Ta-da!
You did?
Okay na po. Na, screenshot na.
All right, let's go to the chorus now. And her chorus is. Let's see. I think, is everything working accent-wise here? I think we're good. So, any comments melodically?
I'm having hard time po kasi I think yung malapit is parang malapit sa Diyos, hindi siya malapit. Hindi ko siya alam kung paano. I don't know how to fix it.
Oh, yes.
Should be
Malapit.
Yeah, it should be malapit, not malapit.
Kami ay itataguyod. Malapit.
Kami ay tataguyod na malapit.
Ano yung
Malapit
what will be our translation for this? We could do either kasi.
Right, but it has a different meaning by accenting malapit, right?
Yeah. Malapit.
I think
So,
malapit
yeah, it should be
for
malapit.
relationships, diba? If it's a relationship, then it should be
Yes.
malapit.
Yes.
So,
Taguyod.
could you do this kind of a rhythm going into it? Na malapit, kind of like your verses do.
Mhm.
Is that
Yeah.
possible?
I think so.
Because the kind of secondary accent could come on mal, right? Na mala, na malapit, tama ba?
So the half note will be dotted quarter. Is it correct?
Taguyod.
Yes, although she possibly, because her melody's nice there, she could just make that a melisma, right? And keep her melody. Did that work? Or does that seem a little odd?
Or maybe from low to high? Pihit sa Diyos. What do you think, Cherry?
Like a melisma of some sort would be nice here, so you don't just have a dotted quarter or a dotted half note for the whole stretch. Seems like it would be nice to do something. And then I was just inserting an extra one of these, but you wouldn't have to. You could change your note. Whatever you wanted to do, I don't know.
So, yung beat po, magiging first beat. Ano yun siya? Ang valley.
Nakaslur yung beat
Yeah, so
na malapi.
I put the E here, and then I went up to an A, and then kept this part. But you can kind of experiment with it. You don't have to do that exactly. There's many
Okay po.
options. One other thing I should mention, if you end up taking my idea of the verse, then you decide to end with a half cadence. If you end with the half cadence here, then I feel like your pickup should probably be a third higher. Two, so then it feels like it should go. Does that make sense? So you'll end on the A in the verse if you take that option, and then you'll just do your pickup B, C, D, and then follow what you have. The rest of your melody is the same. You just do those three notes. Then the only other thought, you have a half a measure that's sitting on the leading tone. It's not necessarily wrong, but I have a tendency to try to avoid leading tones because when you get to the leading tone, you pretty much have to be on the true 5 chord. You may be a 3 chord, depending what's happening. So I was thinking you could adjust this so that it like a 6 chord, something like. Oops, I put that wrong chords. Something like this. So like an E and a G instead of F sharp. You're just so limited on your chord options if you put the F sharp that long. But if you make it E, G, F sharp, that makes sense? It gives you a few more chordal options. When you do your harmonies, it might become clear to you what you're wanting. So the F is not incorrect. Okay, anyone else? Any other comments? Timothy or Rousseau, anything to say? Okay, go ahead and take a screenshot of this if you'd like, or if you have it all copied down. So the good thing is you used all your brain power on your first melody, and it's really so that's good.
Naubos na po yung brain cells ko. Thank you po.
You're welcome. Okay, let's clear that. And let's move to this one. All right. Oh no. Now, did you send 2 different melodies, Rousseau? So for some reason,
Yes, ma'am.
I could only download one of them. So this is the only one I have. So if you have it on your screen, you might have to share off of yours.
Okay pa.
All right, do you want to start with this one?
Sige po. Wait lang po. Yung pitch. O Haring Diyos, ang aking namamalas, nakarikta ng sanlilikha mo. Araw-likling mga bundok at dagat, patunay sa kapangyarihan mo. Kaya't umaawit ang puso ko, nagpupuri, O Diyos, sa iyo. Dinadakilak at sinasamba, O Haring Diyos, dakila ka.
All right, and why don't I stop sharing and let you share your second melody? So you have to enable something.
Wait lang po. sa aking mamalas, nakarikana sa nilikha mo. Araw likli, mga bundok at naga, patunay sa kapangyarihan mo. Kaya tumawit ang puso ko, magpupuri, O Diyos, sa iyo. Dakilang at sinasamba, O Haring Diyos, dakilahan.
Okay, thank you. Can you bring that one back down and let's sing this one together first, since it's on the screen. Ready? Okay, that's option 2. Let's go ahead and go back to option 1. Okay, let's sing this one together now. Okay, so that's number 1, even though we sang it second. The other one's number 2. So let's take our famous vote. Who votes for 1, this one, or who votes for 2, the other one? Ready? Go. Ralph, do you have a vote? Let's see. No, Ralph is there. Everybody else is saying 1? Everybody's voting for 1. Is that your favorite too, Rousseau? Okay, that's your favorite. All right, so let's look at this one. He uses an augmented second in the melody. Did everyone notice that? And he gets away with it because he's thinking a specific harmony, so it kind of works. That's good. Let's see. Any accent issues that we need to talk about first, Ms. Lillian?
There are some.
Let's start with the chorus again.
Okay.
Anything in the chorus?
For the chorus, it's better to do the accent on with on downbeat. With ang puso ko nagpupuri po second sa Diyos o Diyos sa iyo dinadakila nasamba rin Diyos dakila. So only that 2 parts, awit and then puri.
So here, we could easily just fix that one by just doing something like this, right? It could even be the same pitch if you wanted to. And let come on the melisma maybe. Sorry. I'm in the wrong key. Would that basically fix it? Okay. And then over here, maybe it's not quite as easy. This is kind of his little motive, so we don't really want to ruin that. I think we want to keep that if possible.
Maybe slur on poo.
Would that work? And then put this here,
Yeah.
and then add an extra eighth note. Get rid of the dot. Does that work?
Yes.
That would basically work. Okay. So the chorus would work, basically. Let me play it all the way through and see if anyone else has any comments for the chorus melodically. Let's see. Anyone have any comments? I love
Should
the unity. Go
Yep.
ahead.
I'm just thinking about the A on measure 11 and then A on measure 15. That's the same.
So his whole motive is the same. He repeats exactly, I think.
Yeah.
The whole section. And then when he gets here, it's the same thing. So
Yeah.
he could do something slightly different. He does change it after that. Let's see. Then it goes. And the second time. So you almost have 2A. It's almost like A and A prime in the chorus because it is fairly similar. So maybe, Miss Julian, what you're thinking is he could do something slightly different right here.
I understand now what. So it's just a repetition.
But you could do something slightly different the second time, Russo.
Yeah.
If it was the third time, we would say probably you should do something different. Since it's only the second time, it's totally up to you. It's not at all a problem to repeat it twice. But sometimes you could give the second time something a little bit special, a little bit different, without losing the unity. So that could be a possibility. Anyone else? Any other thoughts or comments? Okay, I'm going to take a picture of this. So if you have it all or need it, then let's go to the verse, which is a little more challenging. Okay. Miss Julian, any comments here? And then we get to the chorus. Let's see, Miss Julian, anything with the accents?
First stanza, aking. I think that's all for the first stanza.
Very good. Congratulations. What about the other stanzas? What would be the best solution for the aking? Does it work on the other stanzas, what he has?
Mauunawa. I think that would work for the second stanza if we line up mauunawa and mababalik.
So all of those are accented.
Magbabalik.
Okay. Any other place?
Atin, second stanza, measure, pick up to measure 5. Atin,
Should be a. Which he does have a high to a low.
isasama.
Sasama. So because he's going from a high note to a low note, do you think it basically works? Because the first stanza is correct, right?
Yeah, it could work. Yeah, that could work. Yes. Mag-aawitan. Walang hanggang mag-aawit. Measures 8. But I think 8 measure 6. Awitan. But I think that would be fine.
So here?
Yes.
So at least it's on the main beat, not on the and.
Yeah. That's all.
That's all. Even the third stanza. It's okay. So I think right here you could pretty easily fix this one by just making that a quarter note and putting your eighth notes here. I don't know if that ruins your melody too much. You could even just double what you have. It actually just unifies your rhythm with what you have next. So that's good. And I'm thinking that you're not really meaning F's here. I'm thinking you're meaning the E natural again. Tell me if which one you were hearing. Or, yeah. So we want to go back down to that. The awkward thing, I'm not really sure how this is going to work. So you have an augmented second, which generally we're like, you're not allowed to do augmented seconds. But in this case, I think you're thinking about the text on the first stanza, and you're kind of giving us a bit of an outer space feel. You're kind of giving us a modal sound right there, like you're taking it from, maybe from Lydian mode, would be my guess. Are you familiar with modes? Did you guys get that far last semester?
Yes, ma'am.
So Lydian mode ends up with a major, let's see, no wait, that wouldn't be Lydian. I'm not sure.
A major.
A is what you're thinking? Okay, so you're thinking like a flat 6, something flat 6 there, okay. So the tricky thing is, how do you write this so it's not too confusing to your listeners? if we put an E natural, I think that's going to be very confusing because it's like it's stepwise motion. So you almost feel like we want it to be an F flat. Because that feels a lot smoother. But it's going to partly be determined by how you harmonize, because obviously you can't have an A major chord with an F flat. So I don't know that we really want it to be a B double flat major chord. That's how we end up writing it if we wanted to write it that. So I don't know. I might have to get some advice about how to notate that. But either way, I think the note you're really after is the E natural. So we just have to figure out
Maybe
how to notate it.
change the key. I don't know.
Well, it wouldn't be changing the key. Well, that's true. Okay, so if you were in the key of D, how would that work? Yeah, that would be a lot simpler, wouldn't it? If you're in the key of D, yeah, that's true. We would just have F naturals. We'd have B flat major chords. Nobody would have to like twist their mind around it in an odd way. And it would make more sense because then we wouldn't have an augmented second. We'd actually have them, what is that, minor third. So maybe that's a good thought. Put it in D major. I don't think it goes too high, does it? So if you're in D major, then these could be called F naturals.
By the way, I saw something
Okay.
for the upang katubusan. The accent for katubusan.
Okay. Sorry, what measure is that?
Pick up to 8, but
it should be katubusan.
yes, maybe we can accent the ka instead of to.
And should it also be ate?
Yes.
But that is higher, so maybe we're okay on that.
Sorry.
Then he would need to tie this one, maybe? Oh, that really messes up his little motive. His rhythmic motive that goes with his melody. But it would only be maybe on one of the stanzas. So you're thinking maybe move the ka. Ka to busai, something like that. Something like that. Okay. So you can experiment with that spot. All right.
Yes.
Any other comments? So you have a lot of nice unity in this. Be easy to remember, easy to memorize and sing. All right. Any other thoughts? Any other comments? Did you get everything you need from this page? So?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Thank you. Wasn't as painful as I expected. That's great. I think both of you are getting close. If you're done, Cherry, with your English melody revisions, feel free to send them, even before you do your harmonizations. I don't know that you're going to need to send these ones, because it seems like we're pretty close on them. So I think you can just make the adjustments and go ahead and do your harmonization for next week. So very good. All right. Timothy sent me a Chinese melody earlier. We have 2 minutes. Do you want to sing it for us?
Okay, I think use the Chinese.
Sure. He sent it to me in this notation, so I haven't been able to decipher it quite yet. I'm still working on how to do the Chinese notation, but I would love to hear it.
诸事护为干，引领我前程。诸事孝养生息，养随牧人前行。祝愿为养舍命，滋养英宏生命。虽今思应有故，仍稳妥不惊。诸事护为干，群羊齐称颂，赞美奇妙救恩，尊称荣耀他名。诸事护为干，群羊齐称颂，赞美奇妙救恩，奔走天路长。
Very nice. I love it. It has just the right sound to it, doesn't it, for a Chinese melody? And I think it's what was the text again? Something about the Lord is my shepherd?
Yeah.
Psalm 23 from that?
Yeah.
Very, very nice.
Okay, thank you.
We'll be excited when you'll be in the class for credit and you can be writing these pieces. That will be very fun to have some nice Chinese music. In my graduate recital in grad school, I actually wrote Chinese music for part of my program. And so I researched a bunch of classical Chinese music and had the erhu, the Chinese violin, and then this big bamboo flute. Is it the ditzy? Ditzy, something like that. Play them. So anyway, so I love that. It's neat. All right. Thank you all. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. I will see you next week. Thank you for your good work.